Is it time to sell right now? Well, this pattern says yes. And if it's true, what can we do to get ready? Because selling right now sounds anti American, and I'm not sure the big Don would approve. That's right, President Trump. I'm sorry. Sorry for even mentioning it. Scott Besant over here is looking for big savings, but don't short stocks. That is not the way to make money back. In his first 100 days, Trump is now potentially going to impact $1.3 trillion in trade, knock 1.2% off GDP, and rise inflation by 0.7%. Oh my God. So the big question comes down to what you're going to regret more. Keyword being more. Watch until the end and I will help you with that. But if you're thinking of selling big, beautiful American stocks, get out of here because you're going to get fired. That's right. All right. All jokes aside, stocks are up, but Amazon is down after earnings. And we'll look at that in 1 second here. As of the last screenshot here, 4.2% down. All right. So what does that mean? A lot of this is due to the foreign exchange or basically the really strong dollars. So when we look to these headwinds for the big tech, it's not the same thing that every chart is facing right now. But the strong dollar is what's really doing it. In the last roughly 30 days, well, wow, the dollar's like gone straight up. Yes, that cost two big ones. That's right, two big ones. What's two big ones? That's 2 billion. That cost Amazon $2 billion in profit this year because when they report their money back into US dollars, it's costing them more. Well, America's still number one. That's right, big savings. I'll knock all those numbers off. That's a real number. That's a big company. Amazon's huge. So if we're not going to get out of here and they're still spending more on AI, who should that help? Big, beautiful Nvidia. That's right, Nvidia. Let's look at after hours. Nvidia's flat. Google's down. Tesla's down. Amazon's down. This one's flat. Why? I think I just told you why. So Amazon's down in after hours. But if we look at Nvidia, this one's done really well, and our system actually called it. It called for a trade. It's up by 5.7% from the time we got the alert. That's right. It's still looking for movement up to roughly 146. 146 on Nvidia. Whoa, 146. That would be like a really good move. That'd be basically back up to all-time highs here. That would be pretty impressive. Let's see if the algo can do it. Now we got a trim, which basically means that we can't lose. It's going to be very interesting where we can go from here. Also, DJT, Trump Media is going to trademark Made in America ETF. Nice. What is the stock doing? It's up by 6.69%. All right, nice. Please remember, we do have more economic data going into Friday as well. So what do we have? Non-farm payroll, average hourly earnings, and I think if the numbers come in as expected, that should be supportive of stocks. But I said the same thing about Amazon, and this is what today's title is really about. On Amazon, I've been saying over and over, and notably this morning, I said, I think, not I know, I think the stock is going to go up. However, the risk reward is that if we're going to have an oversized move, I called it, I think at 5 to 10%, maybe I said 10%. How much are we down? We're down by 4%. We were down by as much as 7. So what does this really mean? Because you're throwing a lot of numbers around. I basically said the stock has done really well in the last 90 days, which means from the last earnings report, it basically went straight up. So 10 steps forward, 1 or 2 step back. And what are we doing? We're taking 1 step back. We went up like 30%. Now we're down 4. So 1 or 2 steps back. Now we're going to see whether we can actually go forward. I just said if we're going to get an oversized move, that's likely going to be to the downside. That's just where I see the vulnerability on the chart. I didn't see again, I said I could be wrong too. I didn't see the same thing that could have happened to Meta here. So it's an incredible market right now, but there's a lot of winners and there's a lot of stinkers out there. Look at pins. Last I checked, it was up like 25%, 18%. Let's go. But some stocks are way down too. Where's a stinker here? Well, here we go. Ears, lips, and face. Well, there's no beauty or makeup over here. The stock is down by 24%. Ouch. All right, that hurts. Yes, it does. Well, there you go. There's a lot of stocks you want to be mindful of because if they do this, this hurts. I'm not saying the S&P is going to go down 24%, but this is where this question comes into play. Please make sure you watch all the way until the end, and I will tell you what I like to do. All right, we talked about Trump Media. We talked about what could happen next week. Sorry, tomorrow, not next week. Now, I'm going to ask you for a huge favor. If you could please consider smashing that thumbs up or subscribing to the channel, I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. So maybe instead of dragging it out till the end of the video, let's just go through this. If you don't own stocks right now, you have to ask yourself, do I have more regret that I'm going to get the Meta where, wow, I don't own anything and it just keeps going up? And you're like, okay, well, it was going up a lot before, right? Yes. Well, it started at 90 and now it's at 700. So I'm like, yeah, well, like it could definitely keep going up, but like I don't feel comfortable here. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's because where do I know support is? Well, that's where the green lines are. So if I'm buying here, I can't let it go all the way down to here and then be like, oh my God, I'm scared. I got to sell. No, this is where support is. I don't want to be selling into here. This is a buy zone for me. So if the stock has to drop all the way down to here to be a buy zone, where would I have to sell it? Well, equally as high. I have to be selling it at like 800. Why? Well, 700 minus 100 is equal to 600. Oh, so from 7 to 6 is 100. I'd have to have equal risk reward to here. I don't like risking $1 to make $1. I generally like to have a 2-to-1 risk reward. Why? Because then if I flip a coin over time, I am going to make money. Someone wiser than me once said, rule number 1 of investing, don't lose money. What's rule number 2? See rule number 1. What am I trying to tell you? Make sure you understand what you do before you buy. I am always having a hard time being rational after I buy. I'm trying to find every reason not to sell. And then eventually some stocks just don't do anything. I'll give you an example here. This Twilio stock. I held on to it for a very long time. I thought it was the bottom. It did nothing for a very long time. And now it's finally doing something. If I didn't own it, watching it go from 50 to 150, well, yeah, that's pretty painful. That's a triple. When I thought the stock would go up and now I don't own it. I am not doing anything up here though. And also, if over here I would have bought it, I would have also been rewarded. So what I'm trying to say is that my style of trading is really important. What I'm trying to do is to avoid what I'm going to regret more. And 9 times out of 10, when I buy something and it goes straight down, guess what I do? I regret it more than what I do if it goes up. So yes, it's very hard to see stocks triple because I'm doing the shoulda, woulda, coulda. Oh, what if I would have held on? I could have had this much and I would have had this and blah, 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 that. But I have to also remind myself that stocks can often take stair steps lower, fast, and dirty. And sometimes you don't have the ability to get out. Like you're at Ether from the, what was this? Friday close to like Sunday night. We're down 38%. And this is a big asset. Yes. Remember Nvidia? It wiped out hundreds of billions of dollars in one single day on one headline. So what that tells me right now is that the odds for an oversized move lower, they're to the downside. Right now, Nvidia is attempting to snap back. It's trying to retrace the big move and made him one day. Yes, oversized moves are still happening to the downside. So what I would really encourage you to do is to really pause the video, read what's on here. But if you're having a really hard time, what you can do is join me for 45 free days at going to theelgo.com or just subscribe to the channel and come hang out with me tomorrow morning. Thanks so much.